NDOT provides current highway conditions at your fingertips through the Minnesota 511 app. So when you hit the highway, you're ready for any hazards that show up on your commute. And before their matches, the Olympians share golden moments with folks at home through social media with videos like these. We have wind gusts pelleting snow towards us that feels more like ice. As you can see behind me, it's kind of making whiteout conditions here in Duluth. Very dangerous for a lot of people. We saw people getting stuck here in the roadways a bit earlier, people helping one another. It's not recommended for anyone to necessarily go out if they do not need to. Back to you. The mayor just proclaimed it Apple Fest weekend, so that means it's finally here in Bayfield. And you guys know what they say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So I made sure to get a whole bunch of them to bring back to the studio for you guys. Beyond repetition, restraint, and resolve, being an Olympian means showing up on and off the ice as Team USA. A lot is happening over here. I have that world famous water skier right here with me. She is Twiggy. She's holding on tight. Sydney Witte with Northern News now here. We're at the 200 block of West 3rd Street in Duluth, where a deadly shooting happened overnight at 12:25 this morning. When officers arrived on scene, they found a male who was deceased from an apparent gunshot wound. We are currently working to learn more about what exactly happened, as is the Duluth Police Department. Stay with us on air and online at northernnewsnow.com. Hey Northland, Sydney Witte here. We are 4 days away from the Christmas City of the North Parade. We're going to light up this tree here at 5 o'clock ahead of the parade. Now that's going to happen at 6:30 going south on Superior Street. You can watch it all on northernnewsnow.com and our app. I'm outside the Douglas County Courthouse, where Carson Peterson did not attend his scheduled arraignment hearing earlier this morning. We take you to a habitat just off the Blotnick Bridge for common terns like this one and speak to experts about a species that's threatening them. As you can see behind me, we're seeing some whiteout conditions here along Lake Avenue. We have seen some cars driving through. I personally would not recommend people coming out in this if they do not need to. We also want to show just how much snow is piling up and making banks here. So this is right outside the station next to a station car. The yardstick is all the way down to the ground, and this is the highest level of that snow. That means it's making almost a yard or even more of a yard. Olympic curler Corey Dropkin took me behind the scenes, showing me how he's practicing patience and mental focus before this opportunity of a lifetime. For the past 8 months, the alarm clock has come early for 30-year-old Olympian Corey Dropkin. High-intensity start, the grind before the hopeful glory.
14, 15.
Curling is one of those sports, like, you don't see how physically demanding it is until you actually try it. It's really a full body workout. When you're sliding, you're using all your leg muscles. When you're sweeping, you're activating basically your core, your upper body, as well as trying to keep your balance.
Yeah, and that's kind of like exactly what you're doing right here.
Exactly, so it's a high intensity workout that's really about, one, huge outputs of energy, to then recovering your heart rate and trying to be precise and put a stone on a dime, essentially.
After sweating it out, Dropkin cools down with a quick pit stop at the neighborhood bakery. That creates some of this Olympian's favorites.
Need to restock up on my bread. Let's do the honey hole, please.
Yeah.
So, do you like the coffees?
Sure, okay, I'll get a cappuccino.
A couple espressos and a little bit of milk.
The ABC's avocado, bananas, berries, bread, and coffee.
So what are you buying things for? What are we making?
It's a normal breakfast. Eggs. I like avocado toast.
With a morning routine that sometimes feels tedious, this regimed curler stays grounded, especially also working as a realtor, balancing two identities.
I think that's probably one of the biggest learning curves I've had, because I feel like for the longest time, especially because moving here for curling, like, I've kind of had that mindset as to, like, you know, if I'm not a curler, who am I?
Checked everything off the list.
Yep, we got it all. The ABCs, let's go home. Paw? Other paw?
The countdown to the world stage continues inside Dropkin's home, where he's surrounded by a support system of furry family members and his fiancée, Gabby, who supported him along the way.
She got this for me to have in the village, just so when I was missing our animals.
While also surrounded by reminders of what's ahead.
Yeah, it's my first Olympics. It's a dream come true. I mean, it's a pretty surreal feeling. It hasn't really kicked in just yet.
Between feeling so close but yet so far from the podium, preparing for the games goes beyond the physical demands. It also means allowing Dropkin's body and mind to weightlessly recover through float therapy.
It's just a beautiful big tub filled with Epsom salt.
Sensory deprivation and float therapy have become a cornerstone of Dropkin's mental health ahead of the games, providing a space for him to disappear and visualize success.
Like being on a cloud or being in the middle of the deep sea. For me especially, I use it for visualization and imagery. And I'm a big believer in if you can see it and you can dream it, then you can achieve it. Get through the hole.
And achieving dreams typically comes with practice. And on this day, Dropkin slid onto the ice with Duluth native Corey Teesey, his mixed double Olympic team partner and friend for more than a decade. Even beyond sharing a first name, it's clear their alignment runs deep.
Our careers have kind of followed the same trajectory. We've won a lot of the same big games, and we've also lost a lot of games, and I think that's given us kind of a lot of perspective and a lot of experience, and I think that really helped us in our Olympic trials this year.
Before we head overseas, we're just trying to fine-tune the little things and make sure our systems are in place.
And the mission going into February, well, Corey and Corey have one thing on their mind.
The mission is to bring back an Olympic gold, but in doing so, also having a whole lot of fun.
Beyond repetition, restraint, and resolve, being an Olympian means showing up on and off the ice as Team USA.
And on Sunday, while unboxing their Team USA gear sponsored by Columbia, the reality seemed a stone's throw away.
Nice.
Dang, girl, you look good.
From winter coats to curling jackets, Duluth's United team is sure to stand out, decked out in red, white, and blue in Milano Cortina.
We're ready for the games. Let's go. America!
Team Corey and Corey leave for the Olympics this Saturday. They will play in their first matchup on February 4th in the mountains of Cortina. In the studio, Sydney Witte, Northern News Now. In the calm waters of the Twin Ports Harbor is a man-made island created more than 8 decades ago. Blanketed in a sea of white feathers is Interstate Island. Its shores ruled by thousands of gulls. But at the heart of this chaos lies a sanctuary for a smaller water bird, the common tern. A species that's habitat has continuously dwindled along the Great Lakes, but still calls the Twin Ports home a few weeks of the year.
Well, when they're here, we call them our birds.
Fred Strand, a volunteer with the Minnesota DNR, spends countless hours managing the habitat on Interstate Island during common tern nesting season.
And they return in early May. They begin nesting fairly quickly after they return. By the end of July, they're done nesting, their young are flying, and they start what we call their southward migration.
Strand is part of the dedicated crew helping keep fragile peace between the common tern and the gulls, who over the years have made their home on Interstate Island too. The team's goal is to increase the threatened species population and survival rates and give them a fighting chance.
Part of what we do here is trying to reduce and minimize the nesting competition between the two species to provide a safe place for the terns to nest and raise their young.
Among the habitat are barriers that restrict the 20,000 gulls from entering the tern's nesting area.
The wire grid that's about waist high, and that's a deterrent to try and keep gulls from nesting in the area. Gulls are bigger, more clumsy flyers than common terns are, so they tend to avoid trying to go in and out of an area that has that wire grid above it.
Strand also creates new spaces for the migrating birds to thrive.
What are the little houses that are kind of set up in a way?
Well, what you'd call houses or shelters is a place for the chicks to go in to get out of when it's very hot in the direct sunlight, or if you have rainy, wet weather, it provides some shelter for them.
Jenny Breidenbach, who's the restoration program manager at Minnesota Land Trust, says none of this would be possible today if it wasn't for a 4-year restoration project targeted at combating habitat loss and rising water levels.
In 2019, things were very critical in terms of the water levels being very high in Lake Superior. And the island had been reduced to about half the size of available habitat for all of the gulls and the terns.
The multi-phase project elevated flooded areas and extended the shoreline of Interstate Island by 900 feet, expanding it by about 6 acres.
So there was work done in the spring and the fall and then the following spring to elevate the island, particularly the tern nesting area, and make sure that it was at a high enough elevation to never flood from Lake Superior water levels increasing.
Data collected from Interstate Island shows those efforts help. The common terns population has remained around 120 pairs over the past few years, even with the influx of other water birds.
With gulls also on the island, they pose a threat to the common tern survival rate, but in 2025, that number increased.
They're very long-lived. The average age of the birds that nest here is 10 to 11 years old. And last year we documented a bird that was 28 years and 11 months old. So this chick is about 15 days of age.
But it may take a few years to see the most impactful results.
The terns are generally 3 years old before they start breeding or they're sexually mature. So if you have a good reproduction year for a year or two, you won't see the results until a couple years down the road.
And Strand takes results day by day.
Obviously, not every time you come out here there's good news. How do you deal with the fact that sometimes there is bad news when you come out here?
You swallow hard, you don't like it, but you try and figure out what you can do to prevent it from happening again and to cure the problem.
Thankfully, most results point in a successful young and thriving population. Proof that years of dedication will pay off.
And it's just amazing to hold those tiny baby terns in your hands and put bands on them and just see, like, they're living creatures that are able to be born here and hopefully survive for a very long life.
And what brings Strand back to the island after decades? Well, it's not the gulls. It's his commitment to the habitat he's worked to keep alive, and his love for the not-so-common tern.
So when you see a common tern, enjoy it and think about all those miles that it migrates each year, and then it comes back here to share their time with us.
Now, by tagging the birds, they are able to gather data on the birds' whereabouts as they migrate. Interstate Island Wilderness Management Area is only accessible via boat access. No hunting or trapping is allowed, and disturbance is not allowed April through August. With this massive storm, travel impacts are happening this morning. Right now at the Minneapolis International Airport, according to FlightAware, there are over 50 flights canceled, also about 8 flights delayed, including one bound to Duluth. Major renovations could soon be on the table for the Grand Casino Arena, with upgrades potentially costing millions of dollars. Community leaders also got an update on the city's efforts to grow Duluth as a destination. Visit Duluth, the city's destination management organization. Turning to consumer news this morning, with spring break starting, United Airlines has announced a change in policy for its passengers.
Cheese lovers are having the best time in Madison, Wisconsin right now as they sample all of the delicious offerings at the 2026 World Championship Cheese Contest. So get this.
Oil prices are hitting highs and lows as the war in Iran continues to cause market unpredictability and higher prices at the pump. We are 2 weeks out from the opening ceremonies for the 2026 Winter Olympics. The Northland is no stranger to sending athletes to the world's biggest stage, and in the sport of curling, perfection is found through hours of silence and inches of difference. Another heated topic at the meeting was DPD's use of a data analytics software called LexisNexis. Chief Sanoa said that DPD uses 2 tools from LexisNexis, but does not put them into their system. Number news this evening that Sarah Beckstrom, the National Guard soldier critically injured in a shooting on the streets of Washington, D.C. yesterday, has passed away. A police officer was shot multiple times early Sunday morning during a traffic stop connected to a domestic dispute. Now, these layoffs come after Hibtac and Minorca mines were temporarily idled last March after a drop in steel demand. Around 600 union workers were laid off at that time.